Imagine a generation that was raised by wolves, or more accurately, a generation raised by a microwave, a television remote, and a set of house keys hanging around their necks. They aren't the ones starting loud arguments on Facebook, and they aren't the ones filming choreographed dances in the middle of a grocery store. They are the ones in the corner, wearing noise-canceling headphones, sipping a cold brew, and getting more work done in 2 hours than most people do in a day. They are Generation X, the invisible generation. And if you're a millennial or a Gen Zer, you're likely working for one, living with one, or being raised by one. But do you actually know what makes them kick? Why are they so obsessed with privacy? Why is their humor so dark? And why do they seem to possess a strange, almost supernatural ability to fix things without a YouTube tutorial? Today, we are pulling back the curtain on the most underestimated group of people on the planet. By the end of this video, you'll realize that Gen X isn't just a bridge between the old world and the new. They are the secret architects of the reality we live in today. Stick around, because understanding the Gen X mindset might just be the ultimate life hack for your own career and sanity. Let's start with a term you might have heard but probably don't fully grasp: the latchkey kid. In the late 70s and early 80s, the world underwent a massive social shift. Divorce rates plummeted into the ground, or rather skyrocketed into the air, and for the first time, both parents were entering the workforce in droves. The result? Millions of children, some as young as 7 or 8, were coming home to empty houses. By 1984, an estimated 7 million children in the US were self-managing. If you're a Gen Zer used to helicopter parenting or gentle parenting, this sounds like a plot from a dystopian movie. But for Gen X, it was just Tuesday. They let themselves in, made their own snacks, usually something questionable involving a toaster oven, and finished their homework without a single soul checking on them. This created a psychological phenomenon called high contingency independence. They learned early on that if they fell and scraped their knee, there was no one to cry to. You got up, you cleaned it, and you kept going. This is why your Gen X boss seems so hands-off. They aren't ignoring you. They genuinely believe that the best way to learn is to struggle until you figure it out. They don't want to micromanage you because they were never managed themselves. To them, freedom is the highest form of respect.
But this independence came with a side of defensive pessimism. While boomers grew up in a post-war era of booming prosperity and the American dream, Gen X grew up watching the institutions they were told to trust crumble. They saw the Watergate scandal proved that the government lies. They saw the Challenger explosion proved that even our greatest scientific achievements could fail in a heartbeat. They saw their parents get laid off after 20 years of loyalty during the recessions of the early 80s and 90s. The result? A generation that is biologically wired to have a plan B, a plan C, and a secret plan D. They don't trust the system because they've seen it break too many times. If a Gen Xer seems skeptical of your new disruptive startup idea, it's not because they're hating. It's because they're looking for the structural flaws that will cause it to collapse in 6 months. They are the ultimate realists. In a world of toxic positivity, Gen X is the reality check we desperately need. If you enjoy diving deep into the psychology of what makes us who we are, take a second to hit that subscribe button. We're building a community of thinkers who want to understand the why behind human behavior, and we'd love to have you with us. Now, let's talk about the weapon of choice for every Gen Xer: sarcasm. If the boomers are the generation of the Great Society and Gen Z is the generation of the Great Resignation, Gen X is the generation of whatever. That iconic 90s catchphrase wasn't just a sign of laziness, it was a psychological shield. When you grow up in an era of looming nuclear threats and environmental doom and gloom, you develop a very dark sense of humor. Think about the movies Gen X loves: Fight Club, The Breakfast Club, Die Hard. These aren't stories about perfect heroes. They're about flawed, cynical people trying to survive a broken system. This irony is a survival skill. It allows them to process trauma without being overwhelmed by it. This is why Gen X is the master of the deadpan. They can deliver a soul-crushing truth wrapped in a joke so subtle you might miss it. If you're a millennial who finds your Gen X colleague a bit cold, try looking for the humor. Once you speak the language of sarcasm, you've unlocked their trust.
They value authenticity over polish. They would much rather you be real and messy than fake and perfect.
Now, let's address the digital elephant in the room. Gen X is often called the digital immigrants, but that's a bit of a misnomer. They didn't just move to the digital world, they built the damn thing. While Millennials were the first to grow up with the internet, and Gen Z was born into it, Gen X were the ones in the garage soldering the motherboards. They are the last generation to remember what the world felt like before the internet, which gives them a unique analog logic. If a Gen Zer's phone dies, the world stops. If a Gen Xer's phone dies, they remember how to use a paper map, how to find a payphone, if they still existed, and how to navigate by the stars if necessary. They understand the logic of how things work, not just the interface. This makes them incredibly valuable in the age of AI. While younger generations focus on the output, Gen X is busy questioning the input. They are the bridge between the physical and the virtual. They know that just because something is on a screen doesn't mean it's true. They are the original fact checkers, born from a childhood of having to look things up in an actual Encyclopedia Britannica. There is also a profound psychological weight that Gen X carries today, the sandwich generation. Right now, most Gen Xers are caught in a brutal emotional vice. They are caring for their aging boomer parents who are losing their independence, while simultaneously trying to launch their own Gen Z or Alpha children into an economy that feels increasingly hostile. They are the caregivers for everyone, yet they rarely ask for care themselves. This explains the stony exterior you might see. They don't have time for a midlife crisis. They have too many people depending on them. They are the generation that just gets it done. In the workplace, this translates to a radical loyalty to competence. A Gen X leader doesn't care about your job title or where you went to school. They care if you can solve the problem in front of you. They value deep work because they remember a time when you could sit for 4 hours without a single notification pinging your brain. So, why does this matter to you? If you're in your 20s or 30s, Gen X is your greatest untapped resource. They are the ones who can teach you how to be unhackable. In a world that is constantly screaming for your attention, Gen X knows how to stay invisible and powerful. They know how to build a career that isn't dependent on likes or clout. They know how to maintain a private life in a public world. There is a reason why Gen X lead clips are going viral on TikTok right now. People are starting to realize that there is something incredibly cool about a person who doesn't need external validation to know they're doing a good job. As we look toward the future, the whatever generation is starting to step into its true power. They are the CEOs who prioritize sustainability over hype. They are the parents who are teaching their kids that it's okay to be bored. They are the ones holding the social fabric together while the louder generations argue on the front porch. Gen X doesn't need a trophy. They don't need a standing ovation. They just need you to get the work done, keep it real, and maybe, just maybe, stop calling them Karen when they're actually just trying to fix a logical error in the system. If you're a Gen Xer watching this, we want to hear from you. What was your latchkey experience? What is the one thing you wish the younger generations understood about your whatever attitude? Drop a comment below. We actually read them. And if you're a millennial or Gen Zer, tell us about the Gen X badass in your life. What's the most Gen X thing you've ever seen them do? In our next video, we're going to be diving into the fascinating and somewhat terrifying psychology of Generation Alpha. You won't want to miss that one, so make sure your notifications are turned on. Until then, take a page out of the Gen X handbook. Stay skeptical, stay independent, and remember that sometimes the most powerful person in the room is the one who doesn't feel the need to speak. Thanks for watching. Whatever.